Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday. Conference championship weekend. Hope everybody's stocked up on snacks and whatnot as we get ready to chill out, apparently, for the next couple of days. I think it's probably much ado about nothing, but it is what it is. That's what we do. So it is Friday, a little before 11 a.m. And we've had some good stuff going this week. We had Brian from Laundry Diner, Chef Brian, on Monday. We had Leslie from Cottage and Juice Hive, Bluffton Pasta Shop on Wednesday. May River Coffee Roasters as well. That was a lot of fun. Great conversations. Two really good ones. And I'm super, super excited to get today's guest in here. He and I have become fast friends over food and a number of other similar interests. And we got a big event coming up next week as I think I have to give the camera some coffee in the morning too. I was having all kinds of technical problems today. I feel bad because Ronan was up here on the table and I had to put him down because I was yelling at the computer and he thought I was yelling at him. So I'll apologize to him in a few minutes and give him some snacks. Anywho, without any further ado, I'd like to introduce everybody to my buddy, Chef Craig Ryan from Lincoln and South Brewing. What's up, bro?
What's up, everybody? Hey, Nick.
Perfect backdrop. I didn't mention this to you before. Yeah, perfect. So while I'm doing this, I also want to bring up. I'm always pleasantly surprised. It's like it's a little bit of like a trip down memory lane when I tee up the photos for these things, and it was kind of cool because, like, yes, we got together last week or Monday, right? No, it was Monday.
Was Monday, yeah.
Had some. This week has been just so crazy. The last 3 days, but you know, I got the late start Monday because of the parade. I couldn't get out of Savannah after a meeting, and then but when I went in here, I was pleasantly surprised with. I mean, I don't have a ton of food picks, but that's why one of the reasons why I came there for lunch. And obviously, this is a dynamic situation over there where you guys make a lot of changes and whatnot. But I was pleasantly surprised with the B-roll that I got, if you will, starting with this pretty sweet picture that I got on a somewhat dreary day. When was this?
Yeah, shout out to Lisa Kasmer for doing our portrait on the side of the building.
Hell yeah. Very cool. Okay, so camera's awake. So we're going to get into a lot of fun stuff today, and you and I have been kind of talking about that. Is that you? That might be you over down in the left-hand corner here. Look at that. That might actually be you.
I'm always here, bro.
I had this that's exactly what happened with Brian the other day. I had a picture from like when Laundry had just opened, and I had you couldn't see his face, but he had a Met hat on, and I was like, that must be you over there. So before we get into all this cool stuff that we're going to talk about, as you know, I like everybody to kind of know the story, the stories and the background is the most fun thing for me. So you have been at Lincoln and South for how long now?
Just about a year and a half.
A year and a half. Okay. Yep. And what was the journey that took you to get to where you are now as the head chef over there?
It's a real long journey, but I've been in the front house nearly my whole life, but always a hobbyist chef. I've been to culinary school. I've seen it all as a general manager. And then unfortunately, my last restaurant we sold, and Tom, the owner here, reached out and he said, come make this better for me. But before that, I had some more chef experience, but this is another great spot where I could have my autonomous creativity. And really just make it shine with the minimal equipment I have. We have just a food truck and a small prep area inside.
Yes, and that was what was most interesting to me. the first time that this was a stop that was, so I moved here in April of 2021, and do you know off the top of your head when they opened over there?
Yeah, for July of what is it, 2021.
Okay, so that makes sense. That tracks, because that was a couple of months after I moved here, and very quickly became, because my parents, later in the month, we closed like the day after Easter, and then my parents closed on their house in Hilton Head Plantation, um, like a month later, towards the end of April, and then they had to do a bunch of renovations, so they were living with us for a while, but then they were back in their house by August, and so Lincoln South had opened, and our move was kind of like, let's go over to Lincoln and South, because obviously they're more north end. Let's go over to Lincoln and South and let's grab a beer or two before we go to dinner, because I think in the very very beginning, I don't think there was food right off the rip, and when there was, it was quite limited, in terms of what they had on the menu.
Right. That's when we brought out our charcuterie game, which is, it's really hard to compete with, in my opinion.
100% agree. And I got a nice, behind the scenes view at the situation in there, and the way that you explained it. So just to give people an idea what Craig is saying, they essentially, you have what is outside on the deck there. You have a food truck that's like, if we pull up this photo, I should have gotten a better picture of that, but where Craig's standing over here to the left, there's essentially a food truck, a trailer parked on the side here along the porch, if you will, whatever you want to call it. And so that's where the cooking happens. And that's where, I got to hang out with him for a couple of minutes, while he was making me some really good stuff for lunch. And so you got what you would essentially have as like a food truck situation outside, but then you also have, on the inside, there is a small room that you have for prep and whatnot, which is, well, what it amounts to is that there's a lot of moving around, because then you have your walk-in, which is kind of over off the side of the brewery, where they have, where it contains a lot of the beer. And so you're doing a lot of moving around, just from a logistical standpoint during the course of service, right?
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the middle of the woods, like Bear Grylls, filming myself and having to keep going back and forth to get my camera, and then a bear gets in my way. It's a double bear action.
Have you ever thought about, it might actually be kind of fun if you put one of those, like, not necessarily a GoPro, but if you had like a camera, like even if you like stuck it in your pocket, like I remember that's what I did when we moved into our house. My home inspector gave me a little trick where he was like, just stick your phone and like wear a shirt that has like I think I had a Portnoy one bite or whatever pizza shirt that had a little front pocket or whatever on it, and I stuck the phone in there because they were coming to do like there's just a lot of issues that people have with new construction and things like that. So when they came over to kind of do like our walkthrough, I had that thing going just to kind of as like a backup, just to be safe, just in case there was ever like a he said, she said, or something like that. But that might actually be kind of a cool thing, like especially if you did it, turned it into like one of those time lapse things. And you get to see like a lightning quick little snapshot of like what it looks like behind the scenes over there.
I talk about it all the time, and you see it happening nowadays, with information technology and social media, and it's great. People need to know what's going on back there. It's the Wild West. It's a crazy amusement park. It's never the same, which is why we strive for our mise en place, to have everything set up for action. So when we do get those curveballs, we can figure it out quicker. It's a lot of fun and adrenaline rushing. I think that would be pretty cool. Maybe I'll get that rocking on Hilton Head.
Yes. For those of you in the audience who are not familiar with, you say it mise en place. That's how you say it. That's how you pronounce it.
Right? Thanks. Hey guys, this is Christian Ordonez.
Hey, what's up, man?
He's our bartender and one of our chefs as well.
How are you, man?
Cheers.
Doing great. How are you doing?
Good to see you. Thanks for popping in.
Seeing you.
Hell yeah. Hopefully I'll see you next week at the dinner.
Oh, I hope so. I'll definitely be here for sure.
Awesome.
Either helping out or attending the dinner. Can't miss it.
I love it. I love it. And I'm glad that you popped in, because Craig and I were talking about, like, just like when the place first opened, this was kind of like a stop for me to go before dinner. And the thing that struck me right off the bat was, other than the fact that, like, it's a super chill vibe and it's a cool place to hang out, and I'll bring up some photos and stuff like that as Craig and I are talking further. But what stood out to me about Lincoln and South was, I mean, it's tucked away in a very inconspicuous spot, like off of Matthews Drive. It's a very interesting location, but beyond the fact that it's a cool place to hang out, what makes it a cool place to hang out is the people that you're hanging out with, specifically the bartenders and the employees there of the brewery, / restaurant. It's the vibe is always, like, very welcoming. And so, like, when I was there, what's that?
I can definitely agree with that. I mean,
Yes.
The atmosphere is definitely like the main thing here. We got great beer and great food.
When I was having lunch the other day, you had a couple people come in that have, like, this craft beer drinkers group. And so I was kind of like, I'm eating over here at one of the high tops, and I'm kind of like turned around. It was cool because I got to meet one of the guys who was who follows my stuff, and we had a cool conversation. I think he's actually up in New York right now. He's posting some pretty cool pictures of pizza. Was it Corbin Atkinson,
yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he was
Corbin's
there with
big traveler. Awesome.
Yeah.
Guy.
Look at the pies that he's eating today, dude. I'm I always get hungry when I'm having these interviews, especially before lunch. I was looking at some of the pies that he was taking down up north this weekend, and he does it right, for sure. But I saw that these guys were kind of like hanging out, and they were going to have this meeting for their group. And I heard that there was, they were talking about how they had their fantasy football and stuff like that there. And it's become a very popular place for groups, small to large, and families and things like that. One of the things that I loved also right off the bat was the music that you guys were bringing in pretty much from the rip. And so to be able to kind of sit out there, especially on a decent weather day, and hang out on the deck and have a couple of drinks and listen to some music. And you've had some serious acts there too. Like, you've had some serious shows with the likes of, Cranford and Nick Poulin and a lot of very popular, the music scene down here I talk about all the time. And I would say really what has launched that music scene into, and not just music, comedy and all kinds of other performances, what has launched the local music and entertainment scene into the stratosphere is specifically businesses like Lincoln and South.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, for sure. And Locals Only Tap Room is another one. And like,
Absolutely.
and that's
venues for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And of course you got the bank, and there's a couple places over here in Bluffton that are doing a pretty good job too. Side Hustle's kind of getting on the kick with that, and Lot 9's always been good for fun stuff like that. But you guys have become a way for artists to showcase their work, but then also and that's what we're here for. Is we were talking, kind of telling the story about how the food scene started to come about, and originally you were leading with like the charcuterie stuff, and now we're at the level where this is a full-fledged restaurant, to at least from my perspective. I mean,
absolutely,
yeah,
definitely.
It's
come here for the food.
Yeah,
it's a little more than that too, because we have so much movement. We have this awesome brewery next to us that creates the best beer on the island and greater regions. That's for an argument later, but
yes,
coming in here and having some of this great beer. I've served this beer at all the restaurants I've worked at. I've done beer dinners with Lincoln and South. I've done tap takeovers. Thanks, Christian.
Yeah, of course. It was great talking to you, man.
Yeah, you too, bud. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Thank you.
So yeah, it's the dynamic of doing the best that we can for what we have, and I think we kill it. The beers, we have some of the best beers I've had in my life here.
I agree.
Beach City Pilsners. I mean, it's a really light beer. If you're a light beer drinker, come on down and try that. We are an IPA bar, so a lot of IPA fans. Yeah.
You got a couple good sours too. I'm a sour, like, wheat beer guy. You got a couple good ones of those. I even like the seltzers. I got to try a couple of the newer ones when I was there earlier this week. I 100% agree with you. And I think it's also a good time to mention we're coming up on festival season. It's like imminent, like, right after restaurant week, we go right into festival season. And more often than not, you're going to find Lincoln and South is going to have a table set up at these festivals, like whether it's a seafood festival or whatnot. And they're going to be, so yeah, there's always going to be a lot of wine and liquor options, but Lincoln and South has become a mainstay at a lot of these festivals too. Which I love. And there's always a couple of good options. There's always like an IPA or two for people that likes those. There's usually a Pilsner or something, a lager type of thing for someone that's not a big IPA person, but they definitely have a strong presence at a lot of these festivals and events and things like that, which I love. It's just as well they should be there. It's great beer, and it's a great accompaniment to a lot of the food scenes that happen at these events.
Yeah, I think it's because we're all about the community, and without the community, we can't survive. So you have to rely on each other, and if you're not there for them, they won't be here for us. So we got the community's back. Come on in,
Yes. Absolutely. It's definitely a true community place. One of the first times that I had a full-on food experience, this was a bit before you came into the fold, and they were doing some traditional bar food. I think we had some there was some like fried cauliflower, there was a chicken sandwich, there was some Brussels, I think this was a cheese steak, and then there were some loaded fries and things like that. But over the last year and change, since you said it was about a year and a half, is that what you said?
Yep.
Over the past year and a half, for those of you who have been paying attention, and I know that's what I do, right? This is what I do. So I'm paying attention to this stuff because I live in it. I love every single minute of it. And that's one of the reasons why Craig and I hit it off so quickly. Things have been ramping up quite a bit here in terms of, like you said, this is the perfect place for you to exhibit, to put your creativity on display. And I got a little bit of well, let's rewind a little bit, right? Because you and I connected when we were starting the soup tour.
Right.
And credit where credit is due, you guys jumped in right away when I reached out and said, we'd love to be a part of this. And you were one of the chefs where I could tell immediately, just based on our brief conversations at first before we started speaking in more detail, is this was like, you looked at this was like an opportunity, a chance for you to show, your creativity and the work and the time and effort that you put into planning these things. And real quick before we get to that, the mise en place thing, I guess we got away from that for a second. For those of you who don't understand that, that's the situation where the chef and the kitchen is preparing things so that when they are ready for service, everything is kind of set up for them to get going. So, and I got a little bit of a behind the scenes from that both in the prep area, inside the brewery, and then I got to see you at work. But the soup tour that was my first introduction to your food, and that was so exciting for me because that's what I was kind of hoping for. I was kind of hoping that some of the chefs would be like, and it was fine if you wanted to feature something that was already on your menu or something that you had as a special before. That's totally fine. Like if you're like I say, if you're Captain Woody's and you have the heat crab soup that's iconic, that's fine. You're going to lead with that. But for a place like Lincoln and South, for what you're doing over there, you kind of took this as like, okay, let's see what we're going to do here. And you came up with this cheddar beer cheese bisque, essentially, which was incredible. And you had these pretzel bites that we put in it for dipping. And I sat outside when we were recording this little spotlight video that we were doing, And I was simultaneously both impressed and then also, inspired, because this is the type of stuff that really kind of gets me going. So I've talked enough about this item in particular. Let's just talk about like what your process is, because, and we're going to get into the stuff that I ate, earlier this week for lunch, but talk about like what your process is. Cause I love this stuff. Like I love when Tyler at Tin and Tallow talks to me about how he comes up with whatever the addition is going to be, and the egg roll and stuff like that. That's what really fascinates me, because you're as creative a chef as it comes. And you're someone that I know who is extremely, extremely passionate about the product and the consistency of the quality of the stuff that you're going to put out. What is your process? But pull the curtain back for us. As you know, I'm a big wrestling guy, but I'm into it more for what happens behind the scenes than in front of it.
It probably comes down from being so competitive my entire life, and the discipline for that.
Yeah.
So the kitchen, I mean, just the restaurant industry alone is great for that, because there's always something to do. And I pride myself on not being a complacent person. So once I achieve something, I don't want to do the same thing, even if that person has never tried it. I mean, I might go back to it, but things that give me a little bit. I don't want to. Yeah, let's go ahead and say it. Things that intimidate me, right? I might stay away from it for a little bit, but like I'm thinking about it, I'm ready to do it. And that goes from recipes to cleaning duties to terrible things that happen in restaurants. You can write a book on all the things that happen in food and beverage operations. Like I said before, it's an amusement park. It's Wild West. So, with all of that, and I've worked in so many places, and I've always watched the Food Network growing up. I generally don't watch it much more. I'll watch some YouTube or actually do some research on recipes. But through my entire experience, culinary degree, watching chefs, watching actions, watching movies, it's culminated into who I am now. I'm also an extremely holistic person. So, one of these days, I wish I could say it today, we're going to beef tallow. That's my biggest irk in restaurants, even the overusage of paper. So I always try to keep a mindful approach when I'm cooking too. I try to stay away from ultra processed and processed foods. I like to keep my freezer very minimal.
Right.
So it's prep every day. It might not be much prep this time of season, but I'm doing something every day. We're cooking 2 cookies a day. If I have to cook 8, I'll cook 8, but we don't want those cookies to be bad the next day.
Right.
So and I want people to taste that. That's my creativity in this world. I'm not a great painter, so let me show you what I can cook and how I can plate it. But there's also a type of leadership involved to corral your troops to get everything done. Because dude, I can't do any of this by myself.
Right.
So it takes a tactful person and delegation, as well. I said mindfulness, and I think that's a huge way. It's just a tough industry, and when you get in the thick of it and you're sweating, aggressions are high, temper's up. You have to deal with it. So it takes some strong individuals to be in this industry. That's just me giving a shout out, and that's who I am. I've been in this industry for 25 years. I regret a lot of things, but I'm so proud of so many more things.
Yeah.
You didn't mention, but I did the chili cook-off 2 years ago and got 3rd place.
Yeah.
And I was really let down, so I came back last year and got 1st place.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it was determination, and that's competitive. But man, it took me 4 days to make that chili, and so many processes. And I did it for the people, to show them who I am, who I've become, and I did it for y'all, and I'm here for y'all, as well as I am for myself.
Dude, that's awesome. This is the kind of stuff that's like truly inspirational to me, and really like. Obviously, like I'm passionate about food. I had one of the pods the other day, and my mom was like, she watches a lot of the stuff that I do, and she's like, oh, you're very passionate. She's like, you got to slow, and it's true. Like I do need to slow down, because I get so excited, especially when you're talking about like the stuff that you're doing, and my mind goes just in like a billion different directions. And then the next thing you know, I'm stuttering and stammering, and I sound like an idiot. But that's just
you got to hit that rest stop, man. We talked about it this morning.
Exactly.
Well, I think that's why you and I hit it off right away. And I gave you your dues the other day. You have an awesome character and personality. and you're made for this. And I think our passions are the same, just in different areas. And why? Yeah, we got to utilize those together.
Yeah.
And that's the whole community thing that I was talking about.
Yeah. It's one of those game recognizes game, and when you come across people that are like-minded like that, and I think that, and let's talk about that for a minute, because you talk about how you're competitive, right? Your competitiveness comes from you being, for lack of a better term, a sports-minded person. You know, I know I'm surrounded by pro wrestling memorabilia in here. And yes, it's a scripted form of entertainment, but it's rooted in, you know, competition. And so it's a combination of, that's exactly what they call it these days, sports entertainment, but
and huge athleticism. You know, you can't take that away from wrestling.
Tremendous amount of athleticism. There's no question about that. And I will always love and admire the performers, and I have my favorites and so on and so forth. And there's been professional athletes that haven't even been able to cut it in wrestling because of the physical of what's required, especially year round. But from strictly a sports perspective, there is some sports stuff in here. It's really the guest bedroom where I have like my giant Super Bowl posters and my, there's not any Met championship stuff in there, but I got some cool, you know, Giants and from the times that I was with the Nets and things like that. And I played sports too growing up. I mean, I played football, I ended up getting a varsity letter in lacrosse. And the competitiveness that I have, the competitiveness that I have from competing in the sports that I competed in, you know, I wasn't the most athletic person. I was more into like the physical sports, yes, and you know, offensive lineman, like playing center and playing defense in lacrosse and stuff like that. But all of that experience is what composes our creates and composes our competitiveness. And you're pretty active still with disc golf specifically, right, on the island? And really,
I played disc golf at least once a week, sometimes 2 or 3. I was a competitive swimmer my entire life.
Oh, cool.
And after swimming, man, I had to figure it out. So yeah, I'll do anything. I played tennis, basketball, skateboarding. I like running and biking, like whatever it is, like just activity is one of my favorites. And when you add competition to it against other people, I love it even more. Like, let's go out and play some bocce ball and I'm going to talk some shit.
Yes, absolutely. That spirit is what makes the good great, whether it's in it doesn't really matter what business that you're in.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
And we've talked about that too. Like you
got to be kind though. You know, there's a difference between being competitive and then just being a straight butt.
And I come from a business that I've been in for a couple of decades that is that is very cutthroat and extremely competitive. And I'm sorry if I'm distracting you, but I'm playing around with these comments. I wanted to give a shout out to my video guy, RJ Torres from Visually Chopped Productions. Can you see this on the screen?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
I can see it.
I had this block in my banner and I was trying to figure out why, but I'm glad that I pulled this up because this is what I wanted everybody to see. RJ said best charcuterie board in all of Hilton Head Island, Lincoln and South Brewery, and a damn fine burger. And I would agree with both of those things. RJ grew up on Hilton Head, so he's seen it all. And that was definitely one of the more fun spots that we had on the tour. And he was actually putting together a couple of the videos on the fly. So we hung out there with you for a little while that day. It was kind of like a slower time of the day, and we were just kind of hanging out, doing our thing. But yeah, I'm glad that you said that, because the competitiveness, sure, it's important, but I think what's also important is how you treat people. And you and I now have a couple of mutual friends / colleagues in person. And that's one of the things that I am most grateful for in the almost 5 years that I've been here, because this venture of sorts, this endeavor, has really connected me with some of the coolest people that I've had the opportunity to get to know in my life, yourself included. I always said that because I've been coming down here since I was like, before like I even went into high school. I always say 10 years old. I don't know exactly when it was. But my mom got to a point where she was like, we need a break from this Disney because we had a timeshare. And it's like we had friends that were coming to Hilton Head. And so we're going to start going to Hilton Head. And then, of course, years and years later, we did it with a couple of families and things like that. And then years and years later, my wife falls in love with the place. And but it was tough for me because I was only here for like a week. And if I was fortunate enough, I was here for 2 weeks at a time. And yes, I was becoming a big foodie and whatnot. And I would have my reservations and stuff like that, lined up for the whole week. And I really connected with a lot of cool people, but they were all people in the restaurant business and they were all musicians. And again, I was only there for that week or so. And yeah, there might've been a couple of times where I would have been out late, even when I was single and I was just down here with my family. I would go to places just by myself to meet up with one or two of my musician friends. And it was awesome, but I didn't really get to spend a lot of quality time with them because you and I both know, and we talked about, we're not going to get into those details, but we talked about how this business can be very challenging. It can be a daily adventure and dealing with a lot of obstacles. But then what it also is, it's a very specific kind of person that is working nights until 10, sometimes 11 o'clock at night or later. And whether you're a restaurant person or a musician, a lot of the bonding time and the social time is happening, like it's happening behind the scenes, but once you're done with work, it's like, okay, now it's late, but this is the time that we're getting to hang out because, there's not too many of them that are morning people. And and it's not like I was like, at the time I didn't think about it when I was in it, but right. That's not a lifestyle that I don't even know if I ever could live that. I like being with the business, but I don't know that I would. Things might be a lot different if I actually was in it. And there's a lot of people where they're not in it anymore,
right? Without
getting into the gory details because of what they went through while they were in it. Right? It's tough.
Yeah, like I said, it's an adrenaline rush. And okay, so put it in perspective. You're serving. Let's do an average 100 people a day. We'll talk every different place, right?
Sure.
I mean, you got the restaurant down the street serving 1,000 people a day in the summer.
Yeah.
So you have all these different types of people coming in with different personalities. And if you're a robot, like, sure, that's going to work. But, majority of restaurants don't allow you to be that kind of person. So you deal with so much different stuff, so many different energies and personalities. And you have to decompress because you're serving, you're taking care of all these people. And they're not all in a good mood. And I know when most people will agree with me, when you hang out with somebody in a bad mood, you generally start feeling that rain cloud above you.
Yeah.
It's a very tough industry and it's not for the weak-minded. That's all I can really say. I go home now. I have a child, 11-year-old boy. So I go home and I have a couple beers. It's not about going out. It's about having a good time. And you have to do something to decompress. Just find out other outlets.
Yes, exactly. like disc golf and a lot of these different activities that we do. You're right. It's an extremely tough business to be in. You work a lot of hours. You're under a lot of pressure. I only got it for a glimpse, right? So I actually, I don't know if we talked about this, but I worked at a bar when I started the mortgage business to try to make some extra cash. I worked in a bar that was kind of down at the end of town, at the end of the line there in Hawthorne, New Jersey, right on the border of Patterson, which is where my father and his family, where they grew up and where they lived before they moved into Hawthorne. And then I ultimately ended up living in Wyckoff, which my grandmother used to say, my son lives up the hill. It was, the border there of Bergen and Passaic County. But my whole family was in Hawthorne. And so when I graduated high school, when I was in high school and I went to get my first job, I worked at the movie theater, like my cousin worked at the movie theater. And then when I started the mortgage business all these years later, and I wanted to make some extra cash, I got a bartending job working at this old school, I don't want to call it a dive, but it was like, this towny kind of old school bar in Hawthorne. It's actually still around. It's a completely different concept these days because the owner sold it, but it was a couple of brothers, the DeCosmo brothers. And I actually had gone to college with one of them, played football at BC. And they owned a place called the Front Porch Pub. And so I went to one of those funky bartending schools, but and yes, you did learn a lot in the school, that you did a couple of nights a week and whatever. But the value in being in this school was that it gave you a list of places that were looking to hire bartenders. So it almost doubled as like an employment agency.
Right.
And I found out that this place, the Front Porch, was looking to hire a bartender, and they only wanted somebody for Sundays. And they didn't even have the NFL package. They just showed that. I remember one of the owners said, you don't need the NFL package. And I don't know that I necessarily agreed with that, but I'll tell you what, they definitely packed the place on Sundays, probably because it was, I think it was $1 pints or $2 drafts, whatever it was. And so a lot of people came in and they would line the bar from one end to the other. But I was the bartender, and I also bussed the tables. It was a one-man show on Sundays.
Yeah.
And my friend Eric, who was his main job at the time, he's been in the car business for a long time, but at the time, his main job was he was a bartender at, like you talk about, the restaurant down the road, right? It was a place called Alexis Steakhouse, and he would work Saturday nights. He started around the same time because Alexis had closed down, and they knew that the following that Eric had, just like a lot of people come into Lincoln and South specifically for the bartenders to hang out with them, and because of the rapport that they have. So he would bring his Saturday night crew, the people that he knew on Saturdays. Sunday was his day off. He would bring them into the bar to hang out.
Right.
So this was not only a crash course in what the business was like,
Yep.
but it was also it opened up like we talked about before. Like, I'm not saying like that I was like, becoming best friends with the people that hung out there, but there were some strong friendships that were born out of people that were coming out to hang out at the bar on Sundays. And then of course, when I could, I would go and support him on a Saturday night. That was a whole nother thing. The worst part about working Sundays was, when they closed down on Saturday nights, they tidied up a little bit, but you had a lot of, popcorn and whatever stuff that you had to sweep up, and you had to mop the floors and clean the bathrooms and all the stuff that was carryover from Saturday night, which was almost always the,
oh man, it's not just Saturday night, my friend.
No, right? Yeah. Yeah, I know.
It's part of the beast right there.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to deal
and then
with it.
The one brother that would come in to relieve me on Sunday nights, he was a habitually late person, which I get it. I'm always running 10, 15 minutes late to where I'm going. But there were some Sundays where by the time that 7:30 rolled around, I was exhausted, and I just couldn't wait to go home and chill out, eat some dinner, maybe watch the Sunday night game if it was football season, and then, back to work. And there was occasional I would pick up a shift if I had to switch with somebody or something like that. But it just gave me a glimpse into everything that was about. And ever since then, and being around and peripheral to the industry, I've always had an admiration for the stuff that you guys do. And that's why I get sensitive and I get lured into these arguments sometimes with people, because I'm like, I know how much effort it is to put in the work and the effort that you guys put in with, being a parent and being, having to take care of your family and everything like that along with it. And a lot of times, the fact of the matter is, and I'm used to this from the mortgage too, because I work with a lot of realtors, but you're working when a lot of people are not working.
Yeah,
and so it's a big lifestyle change.
Why it's a tough lifestyle. Holidays, weekends, it's really difficult. You need to find an owner or a manager that has some type of empathy, because it's not all here. I understand with my employees, like emergencies happen and we need to alternate holidays, and but that always derives to communication. You signed up for the industry, you decided to work here, but now you need to communicate. You want those days off, that's fine, but it's all about reciprocation for me. But I'm sure every other manager would agree. It's very difficult for not only yourself, but to manage everybody else who wants the holidays off, even though they wanted to work at a restaurant or bar.
Yeah.
It's a funny industry.
And you need to have that accountability too. It's something that I feel like is real important. Respect for your team members, and accountability for, if I fucked up, I fucked up, and that's that.
Yeah. Stay humble. Don't take things personal. Leave it at the door. All those things really matter. And when I say, like, don't take it personal, when you're on the job, nothing's personal. And if somebody makes something personal, then they probably don't belong there.
Yeah.
Because you got to get the burger out. You got to get the food out. You got to clean. You have to clean up the child's mess. Just do it. That's your job. If you want to do it, get out of the industry, because it's a lot. It's a lot of cleaning up after people, a lot of emergencies, a lot of moving around. But man, like I said, there's another side of the coin. The adrenaline rush is great. You meet great people. You hear awesome stories. You create stories. I mean, if you work a 9-to-5 desk job, you're not going to have the type of stories that a F&B worker has.
Nope.
I mean, it's true, and that's what I'm truly grateful for. It's like I've led a pretty exciting life just through the restaurant industry.
You got a lot. You got a lot left to go. Let's get into some food.
Yeah,
let's get into some food here. So when we were in the, I mean, I could talk about that stuff for hours upon hours, but we'll I think what we'll do is we'll have you come on again, and we'll dig, and dive deeper into that stuff, because that's the stuff that really is interesting to me. But people are here for the food, and I want to talk about this deliciousness that I got to enjoy some of the other day, and then I want to talk about the events that are coming up. So when you walked me into this prep room, you had a bowl of some crazy stuff going on in here. What was this for again?
That's just a vegetable stock. Right. And that was for our soup that we have this week, which is it's a loaded baked potato bisque.
Okay. So I got it. I walked in this prep room. I was smelling this stuff, and then we went out to the truck, which we popped this up before. Honestly, and I'm not just saying this because you're sitting here with me right now. One of the spick and spanest, cleanest, tidiest food truck kitchen situations that I have been in. I mean, like, they call it stainless steel, whatever it is. I mean, stainless to the nth degree. This place is in tip top shape, and that's just a testament to your meticulousness as a chef, and like you said, as someone that has a lot of experience in the business. And then we went right into.
I got to give credit to my other guys too.
Sure.
They are amazing cleaners, just as well as everything else. But again, I couldn't do any of that without them.
Absolutely.
But thank you for the compliment.
Of course. It takes a full team effort. We went right to the grill here, and we started prepping some a burger, and then we were going to do one of the sliders, the dill chicken salad slider, and we're going to show you guys all that stuff. And then we also got one of the shrimp tacos. So the main categories that you're getting at Lincoln and South, they got a bunch of snacks, pickles, pretzel bites. You got your chili cheese fries or chips basket. You got your Brussels sprouts. There's 3 different slider options. There is the taco duo, which you got a pair of tacos, which you can do shrimp, grilled shrimp, pulled pork, or the blackened chicken. And then you get down to the burger, sandwiches section of the menu. And this is where, these are some main event situations here. And I had been waiting for a long time to indulge in this Vermont burger. And man, I'll tell you, it was everything that I could have imagined that it would be. Let's talk about, because this is easily one of the most popular items. And we'll talk about the charcuteries and stuff like that too in a minute. But this burger is easily one of the go-tos for people that come here. Talk about, because we had a conversation about smash burgers just in general. Talk about the way that you're preparing this burger. I mean, the maple syrup situation in this was just, it just took it to a whole other level, and it had that crispy burger, the patty, that smashed patty. I really, this was a savory, and I don't know if umami would be the right word, but there was a lot of stuff going on. Talk to me about the origin of this burger and just the burger, the suite of burgers in general.
Yeah, well, and for my opinion with umami, I think it's more of a mental thing, and it's a release of hormones, not hormones, but
I know what you're saying. Yeah, no, I know what you meant.
Anyways,
I know what you meant.
It's a process of what you taste.
Yeah.
You get that unctuousness, and so
Sure.
everybody has a different palate for umami.
It was
But,
definitely
yeah.
a something moans. I know where you were going with that. You didn't get the
your
first part of
hormones
the
are going off, brother.
Yeah, but it was definitely we're up in the fields with these burgers, is what Craig's trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, man, everything's from scratch. Very minimal processed stuff. That the French fries are house cut, double fried. So this burger, we wanted to have a flagship burger like our flagship beers. And the owner is from Vermont, and he also has a maple syrup company called Solar Sweet Maple Farms.
That's right.
And so I was like, okay, I want to make a burger with that, and it goes great with goat cheese. I've always loved mixing things with goat cheese. So we have the maple whipped goat cheese, and we also have a house-made bacon jam. So it's just very simple. We use brown sugar, coffee, and a little bit of whatever dark beer we have on draft. Reduce it down, and that's it. Sticky and salty. Lincoln lemon vinaigrette. It's a house-made lemon vinaigrette. Mm. The bun is sourced from local Sprout Mama's bread.
Great
Shout
bread
out to Ryan and Katie for
great
making
bread
those.
At Sprout Mama. Yeah.
So it's a brioche bun. It's harder to get. I got to pick it up every day or every 3 days, and I feel good about that. It's like we got to get back to our roots, to that farm to table process that kind it started trending and it's dying down a little bit. But and then the burger, I wanted a quick, good burger, certified Angus beef, and it is a traditional smash burger. I smash that thing down almost paper thin, so you get nice caramelization, you get the lacing, you see the bubbling grease coming through holes, and then you flip it and just sear the other side with caramelized onions. But honestly, they're fried onions because it's cooked for less than a minute once after you flip it.
Yeah. The bun is easily, for any sandwich or any burger, we're not getting into the whole is a burger and is a sandwich, whatever it is. The bread is such an important part. I always joke around my wife's grandmother. She used to say, nice bread. That's nice bread. These buns are soft. They got a little bit of a crisp on the outside. We talked about structural integrity the other day, talking about sandwiches. I think it was probably with Leslie from the cottage. It holds up very well. Obviously, it's a true smash burger, so it's kind of spilling over the sides. But you also you get a nice griddle action on both sides of that bun before you set the burger up.
You got to butter and toast the bun, man.
Got to.
I like to put a tin over it so the top gets steamed.
Yes,
I
saw you do that.
Textures, and I do that for every burger. I don't care how busy I am. There's a way I want my burgers, and there's a way I want you to eat them. And I do drop the ball every now and then. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I will not sacrifice my burgers going out not the way they're supposed to be, and that takes a process. I tell my guys, you have to put the bun on before the burger. The burger cooks in less than 3 minutes, and that bun needs a full 5 minutes because we are using not quite 5 minutes, but we're using locally sourced bread. It's a hearty bread.
Yeah.
You want to open it up, so a crispy bottom and then a nice soft top.
This is a precision thing, and there's a reason why I'm zooming in on this is because if you look at this, you can tell just by looking at this picture. You got crisp here where I'm dragging the little mouse cursor here. You got crisp here because these are the sides that are sitting on the griddle. And then look at if you can on whatever device that you're watching. I see it full on zoomed in on my screen here. You can see that buttery moisture in the like you said, you got to open it up. And now what's happening is all of these flavors are just kind of like melding together.
Right.
I don't even know if that's a word, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's all kind of coming together, and with the sauce and with the onions, and it really is with a lot of this stuff, it really becomes not just a flavor, but also a texture situation. And it is a pleasant experience, my friend.
Thanks. It's really simple burger, but you got to go through the steps right to make it a great burger.
Yes, 100%. Slider wise, I'm gonna I'm gonna get to both of those other ones on my next visit. But slider wise, we went with the dill chicken salad. So if Campfire Tyler's watching,
I got you, bro.
earmuffs for
Oh,
Tyler.
He doesn't like it.
He doesn't like pickles. So
Yeah.
I think we talked about that when I was there.
Yeah, I
Just
remember
give you a heads up. He and I argue about that all the time. I love this because I love pickles and I love chicken salad, and this whole situation was right up my alley, and I got a nice shot of that too. I mean, just look at this bite that was staring me in the face with this chicken salad that's got that strong dill flavor. I'm glad that you chose this one, man, because and as you can see, just like Craig talked about, you got that nice crisp bun because it's been sitting on the thing there. And of course the chicken salad is cold, so you get that cold chicken salad with the warm bun. It really was spectacular.
It's great. You know, my owner was like, I want chicken salad on the menu, and I love chicken salad. I love making it, I love eating it, but I think it's kind of a faux pas in restaurants. You know, everybody does it. It's not always great. There's some great ones out there, but I was like, okay. And it's gaining a lot of traction here. We're getting people in at lunch that don't even drink to come eat the chicken salad, and I'm like, whoa, really? That's sweet.
That's incredible.
So, you know, I'm humbled every day by the people that come eat my food, and I guess I nailed it with the chicken salad too. So appreciate that.
I'm a big chicken salad guy. My move is when I go to the delis, like I want, they have a good one at the Sugary that I'll get to eat like on the spot. But my big move is I like to go to the deli or whatever, or to the store, and I like to get the sandwich or whatever it is that I'm eating. And you know me, I'm always thinking like a couple of steps ahead.
Right.
So my move is, whether I'm at Nosh or whether I'm at, one of these delis, is I will eat whatever sandwich it is that I've been having a hankering for, and then I'm walking out of there with, a half a pound or whatever of chicken salad. Maybe there's a tuna salad that I particularly like.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an egg salad, and like a place like the kitchen in Beaufort, where my guy Justin Patton, the sushi dude, one of the spots that he's at, it's dangerous for me, man, because they really kind of amp it up with all the different salads and stuff that they have.
Yeah, those salads they're dangerous.
Yeah, man, for sure. But it's the best way to, like, okay, now I know I'm set for lunches for the next several days, because if I picked up some nice rolls at Publix or wherever, I mean, obviously I'd ideally love to have them from Sprout Mama. The bread there is as good as it gets. But even some of these porch pickup sourdough places that have started popping up, there's a lot of good breads out there, and specifically here locally. So I like to set myself up with, again, whatever it is: chicken salad, egg salad, tuna salad. I got some nice rolls in the bread box or whatever, and then I'll add, whatever. I'll add bacon. I like to slap a slice of American cheese on my chicken cutlet sandwich. I do that with the tuna as well. I even do it with egg salad. I mean, I'm your typical, Italian. I need to have cheese in almost everything. But what I will also say is, the testament of a true great sandwich is, like, this chicken salad sandwich did not need the cheese. I went to a place in Savannah called Goodies, which is a breakfast place right next to Bull Street Taco. I think it's the same owners. And it was my first time, and we ordered a bunch of stuff, and I haven't been back there in a while. I got to go back and enjoy some more of that stuff. A very good biscuit there. It's almost like a combination between like a biscuit and a pancake. It's hard to describe, but I got my breakfast sandwich and I forgot the cheese.
Oh no!
And it was a hot honey or hot honey butter situation. And I actually was glad that I didn't get the cheese, because it was standalone delicious by itself. And that's exactly how I felt about this chicken salad slider. Did not need it. What else is on this, just so for everybody knows, other than the dill mayo and the grilled chicken situation?
It's got our house-made pickles, so I make pickles every week.
Yep.
And yeah, they're delicious. I make them pretty thick, so you can actually get that big crunch.
You let me taste a couple of those standalone too, just so that I could get the flavor of the pickles.
Oh yeah,
those are very tasty. Yeah.
He's like, yo, let me get a couple of those.
just by themselves.
Yeah, house pickle, a little bit of the bacon jam, and Chipotle ranch, just for a little spice in it.
Ranch.
Yeah, so I mean, like there's mayonnaise in it, guys.
Of course, it's chicken salad. Come on.
Yeah.
Like the only weirdos that don't have Italian tuna does not have mayo in it, but chicken salad
Yeah, I don't
more
want
often than not. Yeah, chicken salad more often than not is with mayo. So if you're not a mayo person, this is not going to be for you. But in that particular case, you got other options because you got the buffalo chicken slider and you got the pulled pork slider as well. Buffalo chicken, which is incorporating the buffalo red hot fried chicken tender with the house pickle that we talked about, black ranch slaw, red hot ranch, and then the pulled pork slider, same brioche bun, house pickle, black ranch slaw, Hearts and Arrows barbecue. So that would be your proprietary Hearts and Arrows Lincoln and South barbecue sauce.
Yeah, we make our pork in-house, and then we make the barbecue sauce as well.
That's awesome. I love it. I talked a lot about sauces last week with Eric Amy from Choo Choo Barbecue. He is a saucerer, as I call it. Like he puts a lot of effort into making the sauces and whatnot. And then we rounded it out with this beautiful shrimp taco, which this shrimp was cooked perfectly. I mean, look at that, guys. You just zoom in on that. And a nice little bit of a char to it. We got the scallions. What else we got on here, Craig?
The Chipotle ranch slaw.
Yeah.
And Lincoln lemon vinaigrette. Yeah, it's very simple. It's a small taco with 3 shrimp on it. So it's all about the shrimp.
So good. So good.
I had to get it's literally our one of our most popular items next to the Vermont burger. So I had to have you try it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, robust, flavorful, succulent shrimp. That was a banger. I really liked, and I don't have a standalone shot of those, but I really like the fries. Can you talk to me just for a minute about the situation with the fries? How you're working those?
We make them every day. They're house cut, double fried French fries, thick cut. I like to put a little bit of white vinegar in the water solution to bring out some of the starch of the potato.
Yeah. I had a moment.
So we blanch them in the fryer in the mornings at about 280 degrees, just until you start getting the brown spots, and then we flash fry them at 350 until you get nice and crispy. And you talk to some of my guys, I get a little upset when we're putting out soft French fries, or I don't like saving extra French fries for the next order.
Yeah.
So they're literally cooked for each order. Our ticket times, they're under 10 minutes. Again, we're serving fast food. I'm not grilling steaks over here.
Sure.
But yeah, so there's no reason why we can't just do those fries fresh every time. And that's just one of my standards, and that's why I want people to know who I am. I don't want to rip you off on the food I'm giving you.
Of course, and real customers and food lovers appreciate that. I'm not gonna lie. I had a moment when I was standing there with you when you threw the fries in, and I looked at them, and my first reaction was like, those look like a little dark, a little well done. But that's when they were sitting in the actual fryer itself. Once they were plated, they didn't appear as dark. And then when I ate them, they were in my opinion, the perfect color, the perfect texture, the perfect crunch. When they were sitting in the fryer for a moment, I was like, oh, these are going to be really well done. But I trust you. I know what you're doing. And by the time that they ended up in the plate, and they were still sizzling hot, but it was really the perfect combination of, not like you said, because it's important. You don't want undercooked. It's the worst. Even when you go to if you're on a road trip and you pick up some McDonald's or something like that, and you get those fries where it's
they're horrible.
There's no crispness to them at all. It's like mush. There's a couple. I'm not going to name names, but there's a couple places back home, like the dinery type places, that are doing the disco fries, or what are the fries with the cheese and gravy and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's like I end up we're talking about like we got a plate of mush at this point. Like I
Right.
can't even pick up a fry and have it retain, whether you're melting the cheese or whether you're using the queso or whatever the case is. I don't want to pile it, and especially if God forbid you're taking that home. And yes, if you're not going to eat it on the spot and you're putting that stuff, that's what I would do.
I wouldn't suggest
sometimes
getting
is-
those things to go either.
Yeah,
But
I agree with you.
there's also a stigma of French fries now that people are so used to these processed fries that don't brown. They have that perfect yellow color and they're really crispy because they're coated in starch, cornstarch. It is what it is. You do what you got to do. But so I do get customers, and it is all about preference. Not everybody's going to like my food, and they might be preferred to other things. And I understand that there's millions of people everywhere. We're not all going to like the same things, but
Yeah.
I think because they're house cut fried, they do have a darker tone to them. So it does put some customers off. And yeah, we'll refry them for you. We'll put them a little under, whatever makes you happy. You know what I'm saying?
But the darker tone, it's not. It doesn't. It's not a burnt taste.
No,
It's
yeah,
it's
they
the
weren't
way
burnt.
that the
Our fries are dark, for
supposed to
sure.
be cooked. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they're dark, but they don't taste like when you've had a fry in the past that might be, and you think it was like overcooked. Just give it a chance. Take a couple bites out of it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's hard for me to put into words exactly what I'm saying, but what Craig is saying is, and I've been seeing a lot of this, especially with what's going on. And I'm not ever going to talk politics, but obviously there's a hot button thing about ingredients and stuff like that and what's being used. But that's something that's important to me, especially for someone that eats a lot of this fried stuff during the course of my travels. The reason why food looks like it does in a lot of these photos and things like that is because there's, for lack of a better term, shit in the food that is not particularly good for you, and it's not natural, and that's why it looks unnaturally, like Craig said, yellow, and not like what a real well done potato with good ingredients.
Excuse me. We can have another
podcast
and we'll go deep.
Okay.
I'll blow your mind with some of the stuff they're putting in our food, bro.
I'm down with that. That sounds fun. Okay, before we get into, I want to talk about the event, and then I want to just pick your brain about a couple other quick hitters. Can we talk about RJ gave you guys a shout out, best charcuterie board in all of Hilton Head Island.
Thanks,
just for
RJ.
a second, talk about the charcuterie situation, because that's a very popular item for a lot of people that are coming there to hang out.
Yeah, so
beers with family or friends.
So the owner was like, I want charcuterie, and the original chef created them. And I think Stephanie, if anybody knows her, what's up, girl? She really created something wonderful. In some of my past jobs, doing events, charcuteries got really popular. So as a chef, I was forced to do them. And like I said earlier, this is one of those things that I was intimidated with. So I always practiced charcuteries, and I had a great bro who owns Delicio, Blake Warren. Shout out to him. His charcuteries are some of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. So watching him. So then when I came in here, I'm like, oh, great. I have to do charcuteries. And, after a week, man, I love them. We put as much as we can on them. We try not to skimp. We have our own slicer in-house. So we get artisanal cheeses and meats. We change them up every now and then. And then we've got a whole plethora of pickled items, some fruits, some dried nuts and dried fruits, of course, crackers too. And then we have a great fig spread. So, I mean, they're just loaded. It's, sometimes you have things on there that you don't like olives. Well, yeah, we have olives, but we also have pickles, okra, sweet peppers, calabrese peppers, grapes, banana chips. I mean, the list goes on. You're gonna find something you like.
I am obviously big into all the. I always quote the. Remember back in the day, Kenny Mayne? I am the greatest player in all the land. Bring me the finest meats and cheeses for a clubhouse feast, he used to say on SportsCenter. I am obviously a big fan of all of the meats and cheeses. They're perfect to pair with these excellent beers from Lincoln and South. There's you got the pulled pork slide or the pulled pork sandwich from a while back, and the burger as well. But these charcuterie platters, they're excellent. But I, in a weird way, because I'm such a fan of like these pickled situations, I will honestly tell you that I enjoy the vegetables and the olives and the grapes and the like all this other stuff that's involved. I enjoy that, dude. Like maybe just as much as I enjoy the meats and cheeses that are on the plate, especially when you get some real nice crisp. Have you ever been to in Savannah Black Rabbit?
I have, yeah, for lunch once.
Pretty strong. They always
Yeah.
have two different ones. And it's not a charcuterie. It's just a pickled veggie
Oh,
like
cool. Yeah,
situation.
right. Obviously.
They put that stuff in a bowl, and every day, just about every day, it's not changing like every day, but their sandwiches and their soups move so much that they you got to pay attention to their stories because they'll be like sandwich swap, soup swap. But if you go in there and you sit down at the bar, you got a little chalkboard on one side with the mild version, and then a little chalkboard on the right side with the spicy version. And the ingredients are not the same for each. There's going to be some subtle tweaks. There might be a couple
Right.
fruits or veggies that are the same. But dude, I'm telling you, my move to go there is I want both of them. I want the regular one. I want the spicy one. And I'm always going to have a sandwich, and I'm almost always going to have one of their soups. Now, I don't eat the entire thing because, again, chestnut checkers, I'm planning ahead. I'm going to need a snack for later or tomorrow, and there is no better snack on hand in your house than some pickled veggies with some cheese, even if you're going to go ghetto, Sargento cheese sticks, if you have for lack of a better option around the house. I love nothing. If I'm a little hungry and I need a little something before dinner, I'm not above getting one of my little Pyrex little cup things and dumping a couple of olives. When I worked for Schreiber Foods International for about a year and a half, one of my most things that I was most excited about as an ancillary benefit of selling food for the company was that I got to take home one time a 5-pound jug of Kalamata olives. And I would literally just fill up a cup with Kalamatas, pitted Kalamatas, and just munch on those. I always say,
and they're not cheap either.
No, dude.
They're like 7 cents a piece. Think about that.
They're not cheap. A lot of the ones that I like, the Castle, I don't know how to say it, Castle Vetrano or whatever it is, that one, another one that's not cheap. I could live on olives, mushrooms, and what's the other thing? Well, olives, mushrooms, and cheese. I always say that like I could live on, and in really any sort of like pickled vegetable is included in that. Highly recommend these guys. Can you order these to take with you as well? Can you get these?
Most of the time you require a 24-hour notice, so call us the day ahead, and we'll do the small or large for you.
Okay.
If you want, you can bring your own board in too, and we'll price it out.
Oh, cool.
A big event. Yeah, just give us a call. We'll do anything for you.
Awesome. Go in there, guys, and check out the chalkboard that the menu is on. That's where you'll see what the rotating meat and cheese features are. On this particular day, you had your gabagool. As Tony Soprano famously said, all this over a slice of gabagool. You got your prosciutto. You got your pepperoni, your salami. Again, this was the most recent one that I saw. Feta, Parmesan, Gouda, Munster, mozzarella, and the cheddar. So pick your poison as far as you go on the charcuterie boards. You're going to enjoy all that stuff. Okay. This was one of the things that we wanted to focus on today. We got a big event coming up next week, my man, don't we?
Yeah, bro.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Grains to Glass beer dinner. Next Thursday, January 29th.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, yep. Today's Friday. Thursday, January 29th, 6 p.m., Lincoln and South Brewing. Talk to me about Grains to Glass. I'm in. I don't know who's going to be joining me. I'm working on that. I'll have an answer for you, and I'll grab my tickets today by the end of the day.
But, you need to.
Yeah, I know. I will.
I'm stoked about it. I haven't been able to do a beer dinner here yet, so I've been waiting very patiently to get one going. So if you guys know me, I love to cook Hispanic food, so I was like, let's go ahead and do that for the beer dinner. I haven't done that for any of my previous beer dinners, which keeps the consistency of what I said earlier about repetition. So a lot of these things are new that I haven't made before, so I'm pretty excited. And check out our website if you can't see it on the screen or zoom in. You can get tickets through LincolnandSouth.com. And then you can come in and buy tickets as well. I'm stoked about this. John has a couple new beers out. John, our brewer, he's got a hoppy Pilsner that I'm going to make a Bloody Mary out of. Everything's going to be from scratch. I'm making a mole on this. I'm really stoked to make that. And I have couple tweaks that I'm going to do to it to make it my own style. It's also going to take a very long time. I'm going to make my own fresh chicken stock with it, with a whole raw chicken and carcass. So it's it's a pretty elaborate food here.
The stuff that caught my eye was, I mean, they all caught my eye. I'm into anything corn. So fried corn ribs with your iconic Beach City Pilsner. This is a Latin fusion situation, right? You said
Right,
Latin,
right.
and yeah. So we got a beer Mary. I can pretty much guess what that is. I'm a big Michelada guy, by the way. So I have.
So yeah, it's a play on that.
Yeah, I have a distinct feeling that I'm gonna love this.
I'm just not putting clam juice in it.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I actually listen. I'm okay with the clam juice in a Bloody Mary. Like Sunset Grill has a really good Bloody Mary that incorporates the clam juice. I think that's supposed to be called. Caesar when they use clamato juice instead of tomato juice.
Okay.
I'm a big Bloody Mary guy, and take a guess. I mean, we literally just talked about it. What's one of the reasons why I love a Bloody Mary? Because usually there's some pickled stuff incorporated in it, so you never know. I mean,
and this one's gonna have it.
Yeah, absolutely. Fish Camps were definitely one of the better ones. I'm trying to. I just talked the other day. Cottage, perfect combo too. The dilly Bloody Mary where they incorporate the dill. I even like making my own Bloody Marys, and I load them up with olives and
everything.
Yeah. There's a
You got to put the Worcestershire sauce.
Yes, that's key. The bar that I worked at, I think they made their own Bloody Mary mix, which is what I like with a lot of these places, is that they're making like their own mixes, which is good because you get a nice variety of flavors going on in there. I'm gonna tell you the truth, bro. You could have told me I'm having a dinner and you could have kept the rest of it secret and told me that you were going to have squash blossoms, and I would have told you right off the bat that I was in.
Have you had squash blossoms before?
I absolutely love them. When I went to the Darling Oyster Bar after they opened in Savannah, and on that particular night they had squash blossoms. I mean, it didn't fit in with the seafood program that my wife and I were doing that night, but whether she wanted them or not, I can't say no. That's one thing that I can't say. That's the real
Same here, bro.
That's the real Italian in me. I need anywhere that I go that they have squash blossoms. I need those.
Yeah, so these are going to be a little different. They're not going to be Italian.
I know,
but essentially it's a similar dish. It'll be a beer batter. So I'll use the beer. What beer am I using for that? I think the
Bog Red Ale. It says.
Yeah, the Red Bog. So we'll have a beer tempura mix and then fill it with a chili spiced ricotta, fry it, and then I'm going to have a nice little bowl of Hispanic tomato stew. It's pretty much just a Roja sauce.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, it's going to just absorb in there. Have some tortilla chips because chilaquiles is one of my favorite meals.
Yes.
So I want to make sure I put some tortillas to soak up that Roja.
I love chilaquiles.
It's next to pizza. It's like one of my favorite things in the world. It has to have an egg on it too.
Yeah. You know Sunset Pizza on 170?
Yeah. I've never had it. I've driven past it many times.
Half Day Cafe is right next to it. They share the same kitchen.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of great guys over there. Trent and Big T are the owners. And Half Day Cafe, solid. I hate to use the word solid. Very, very good. Strong breakfast place. Breakfast and lunch. But they have a chilaquiles. Highly recommend it. I love huevos rancheros. I love chilaquiles.
Yeah.
I mean, Mexican-inspired breakfast situations are
amazing.
I'm all over that stuff.
Yeah, I see your social media. I see what you're eating for breakfast.
I love it. He's watching.
Yeah, I love it too, bro.
My friend from up north, Nicole McNamara, I think she's a realtor friend of mine up in New Jersey, and I think she was the one that said something about those last two, specifically the last two dishes are what caught her attention, which was the fourth and fifth courses which is your main event situation with your mole and chicken, where you're going to incorporate the afterglow. What is that, a New England double IPA?
Yeah, and that's going to be in the dish as well. That'll be in the mole. So every beer that's paired with the food will be in the dish.
Okay. So everyone that's going to accompany the plate is going to be it's going to have that same beer on the side.
Yeah. Okay. If I was doing a wine dinner, I'd do the same thing.
Of course.
Same thing with bourbon. It's what I like to do. You want to do a real pairing, you better use that pair in your dish.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. We're gonna make it.
I like this even better because I've been to plenty of wine dinners. Shea George and Radici, Lulu. I'm big on it. Joel, I went to fairly recently. They all do a good job with their wine dinners. Sometimes it's a little tough for me, even though I'm never going to complain about sitting and eating for several hours.
Yeah.
When you start mixing some of those varietals together, especially if what I like is when they don't overdo it on the pours, because it can be, it can get a little crazy after a while. But the difference between a wine dinner and a beer dinner is that you're not really going to incorporate many of these wines into the actual dish. So what's cool about this is every single one of these dishes is incorporating that beer, up to and including these overnight apples, dude.
Yeah.
Ditch Gator oatmeal stout with house cinnamon ice cream, overnight spiced apples. I know what you're going to be doing for Wednesday night, and raisins, pecans, and you're incorporating into the oatmeal stout into the whipped cream. I don't even know what to say about this. Please drive.
Yeah. So it's going to be the Ditch Gator oatmeal stout reduced down, and I'll add that into my whipped cream. It should add a nice little bitter note with all the accents of cacao and some deep nutty flavors. But it'll be very light, just a light effervescence of it. Ice cream, man. I don't know if you like ice cream, but I'm gonna make a traditional custard base with eggs in it, so you get that nice velvety feel. I love making ice cream, so I haven't made ice cream in a good while. So it's about time I make some ice cream.
I hate ice cream, bro. It's terrible.
Well, I was gonna make you an extra quart to go, man.
Dude, it's a constant battle in my house. My wife will come home with like a peanut butter ice cream. I'll be like, "Is this for me?" No, it's not for no. So she does share with me, but that's definitely one of those things where we're like, I'm always on the hunt for some good chips, some new and different chips, and I'm always on the hunt for some different flavors of it. Sometimes I just find myself standing there in the frozen food section in Publix, just staring at the ice creams, just saying, what's Ben and Jerry's coming out with? There was one point where I was having the Jenny's creams just delivered to the house. If you order 9, I think you get free shipping or something like that. So there's been some instances where our freezer space has been a little bit tight, and I try to behave myself. Like now that we're in deep in the winter, I try not to be guzzling, ice cream by the gallon. My yogurt is when I'm being good.
There you go.
It's a granola bar with yogurt, kind of give me a little bit of that same, because I just can't not do desserts. I'm a big dessert guy. All right, so we're running into lunchtime here. I want to let you go in a couple minutes. Before we do, and I'm gonna flash through some pictures of inside the brewery and stuff like that while we're talking about this. I always like to kind of bring it full circle with two things. One, I always love to pick your brain, especially a chef as creative and passionate about you as you are about food and about your food. I know that you love a lot of other stuff too. So are there any things that you've eaten recently, anything that has caught your eye that you want to eat, or anything that just stands out as, whether it's Hilton Head or Bluffton and beyond? What are a couple of things that you would like to shine a spotlight on? Because you're part of this crew that I am super grateful, even though I can cook some things. So I got my buddy asked me this morning, when are you going to make that marsala for us? That's in my repertoire of things that I can do. But I love to kind of be grandfathered into this group, because you guys are all so not all, but the ones that are in that group are all extremely supportive of each other, and you show out for each other and you support each other, and whenever possible, you are enjoying each other's food and inspiring each other. There's a very strong community of collaborative chefs in the area that really like to promote and spotlight each other's stuff, which is exactly what I do here, right? I'm an advocate for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are some things that you'd like to give shout outs to while we're talking?
Well, at first, I'm a single dad and I'm an executive chef. So I don't go out too much. However, I've been out and there's some places I want to try, and I see a lot of the restaurants that are doing some right things that I'm excited to check out. But some of my favorite places, like I love going to Sandbar. I used to work with Erica, the owner there, excuse me. That's like one of my first chill spots to go, and their food is amazing. Sammy's back in the kitchen. He's Jamaican, and his jerk wings are the best on the island.
This is Sandbar, Coligny.
Yeah, really good spot.
I agree.
Yeah, there's an African place in Bluffton that I got to go next week. But
Okan?
I go to Saigon Cafe at least once every 2 or 3 weeks.
When you said African place, are you talking about Okan?
It's Okan, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I know, man. I got to go check it out.
Chef Bernard, my man.
I've only heard.
He is, first of all, a spectacular dude. I can tell you right, I guarantee you're gonna love him. He is so chill. He is so cool. And I'm not speaking about anybody specifically, but I'm just saying, like, in general, once you bring the words James Beard into the situation, you might have this thought in your head. Okay, well, we have a chef that is James Beard nominated, right? Or
right.
James Beard award winning. The next thing that might pop into your head is like, oh, this might be like, okay, because this is this esteemed chef. Like, you might make assumptions about their, I don't want to say their demeanor, but you might say to yourself, this is not probably a person that I'm going to be able to communicate with. You're implying a certain level of like sophistication and whatnot. Bernard is as cool and down to earth as it comes, and his smile, like it just lightens up a room. And what I specifically love about what he's doing, it's not just some of the most colorful, creative cuisine in Bluffton and beyond. He's always, just like you, he's always keeping those creative gears moving, not just in what he's putting out on the plates, but also that Bridge Collective situation down there. He's got some cool stuff going, man. He's got his Okan 100 nights. He's got brunch on Sunday. They're bringing in some interesting entertainment and things like that, constantly tweaking the beverage and the cocktail offerings. I mean, he's awesome. I know he's got some gears working, and he's got some plans in the works for some stuff going down the road. And I'm going to save that for further conversations with him. When I interviewed him on the show, he was in Alaska sourcing product before he ended up. Then he was in New York filming some content and things like that. But he was in Alaska sourcing product. I was talking to him at 10 o'clock at night. I don't even know what time it was where he was. But he is a incredible person. And an incredible chef. That's when people say they want to come to Bluffton, they want to try something really cool.
Yeah, good.
It's tough for me. It puts a lot of pressure on me when people ask me when they only got 1 or 2 shots to go places. That's as good as it gets. And I agree with you about Saigon too. Really good pho. And that fried calamari appetizer with the onions and peppers and whatnot. I haven't been there in a while. I got to get back there soon. You know me, I love any Asian food. I mean, I'm down for all
the
of it.
pho's got my heart, but those spring rolls got my soul.
Yes.
With the peanut dipping sauce.
Damn.
Hey, so I want to let you know before we get going, is we have oyster roast in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Man, I don't know. I think it's February. It's not this Saturday, but it's this first Saturday of February. How about that?
I got you. 1 second here.
It's all you can eat oysters.
I got it right here. February 7th.
February 7th, yeah.
Says we're hosting the kind of afternoon the Low Country does best. Oysters, roasted hot, beer poured cold, music rolling in. On February 7th, our brewery becomes a gathering place for oysters piled high, beer poured cold, and music that carries all ages through the afternoon. Mark your calendar. This one's a tradition in the making. 1 to 5 p.m., February 7th.
We have Zach and
$35
Charlie
per
playing
person.
all day.
Who's that?
Zach and Charlie.
Zach and
If you
Charlie.
haven't heard them, you need to come out and listen to them. They're a fun duo.
Guys, this is a Saturday afternoon, okay?
Yeah.
No excuses.
Yeah.
Go on the Facebook page. You'll see that this was posted on January 3rd, but I know you can find it off the website as well. Go on there, buy your tickets. This was posted January 3rd. It said purchase early and save $5. Go on there, whether it's 35 or 30, it's definitely going to be more than worth it. This is what we're coming upon, right? It's oyster festival season, right? Yeah,
we're in it, man. So it's about time. So yeah, we usually do 2 or 3. That's what we did last year, but we decided to just have one big one this year.
Right on. I think there was also something else that you wanted to mention while we were on here from an operational standpoint.
So
Did you just want to throw that out there?
Anybody out there watching or knows somebody, I know this is a tough season on the island. Hours are sparse, but Lincoln and South Kitchen is hiring. You want to come work with this guy, hit me up.
There you heard it, guys. Those of you F&B workforce people, there are opportunities abound out there. This is a big challenge. I just spoke to someone about it just yesterday. And this is not just specific to restaurants, but it is definitely one of the ones it's the hardest. The labor situation and finding good, like there's a lot of people that say that they want to work, but do they actually want to work?
Yeah, I think you said it the other day, but it's one of my, like I say it all the time. The low country, there is a lot of low bearing fruit. It's all out there for you to grab. You just got to have a little dedication and take it.
Yes. 100%. 100%. All right. Well, guys, feel free to drop me a line if you're interested in a position and joining Craig's team. I can only highly recommend, not just as an incredible chef, but an incredible human being. I am having an absolute blast getting to know you and getting to, really feel your passion with what you do. I'm glad that you and I get to spend some quality time together on Monday. We were going to do the podcast last week. I'm glad that we pushed it to this week, and even more so to later in this week, because it gave me, more time to come and enjoy some stuff. You and I got to compare notes on a couple of things, and also obviously perfect timing to prepare for this beer dinner that's coming up next Thursday. Lincoln and South Brewing Company, facebook.com/Lincoln AND South. I believe the Instagram should be the same. Just search Lincoln and South on your Instagram, but I believe it is still the same, Lincoln AND South. Check out their socials. You can also go to their website, which is at lincolnandsouth.com, for any upcoming events. Do they share on the website what's on the taps on any particular given day?
Yeah, okay. We update it pretty frequently. We also have all of our events on there, as well as typically an updated menu.
That's a good idea. Before I let you go, here I have our January event highlights. We're getting to the end of the month here, okay? So tonight we got this is it. We got Soul Remedy. Next week, trivia night, 29th, Grain to Glass beer dinner, January 30th, Rock Candy, January 31st, Sweet Forgiveness. As always, subject to change. Just go to the Lincoln and South website, this is from a little bit older, but we might as well throw this up on anyway, so we just talked about it. Hiring kitchen crew. So apply in person or reach out to them on their website if you're interested in joining Chef Craig's team. Dude, this was a blast. I knew it was going to be, there was not a question in my mind that this was going to be a fun time. Oh, and before also, there's the potato soup, the spiced potato and bacon bisque. That was the soup for this week, right?
Yeah, and then we just released a new beer called it's a hoppy pilsner called Weak Spot.
Weak Spot.
Yeah, it's got the hops but not as much alcohol, so it's a nice light beer with full flavor.
I love it. Limited seating, guys, for this Grains to Glass beer dinner. Okay, bold flavor, elevated vibes, a night worth circling. Reserve your seat now. I think we did it, man. Is there anything else that you want to throw in before I let you go? Because it's lunchtime.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm extremely grateful, and thank you for anybody watching. Cheers. Come see us at Lincoln and South.
That looks nice, man. Which one is that again?
That's the Hoppy Pills. I'm not going to drink it all.
That was funny about the last wine dinner that I went to with Chef Sean Carroll at Link's. I consumed quite a few glasses of wine, but I was also there for a good 3+ hours. So
Yeah.
and the pours weren't too strong, so like there weren't too much, so it was actually quite perfect. I did sleep pretty well that night, but
I bet you will next week too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, it's an experience. Sure. It's all these beer dinners, wine dinners, bourbon dinners. They're all worth the money because you're not just coming to eat. You're getting a show. You're being entertained. You're getting knowledge, education. Yeah, come out and see us.
They are an experience indeed. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it next Thursday. So if you end up buying tickets and you decide to go, come over and say hi. I've gotten to run into a couple fans of Indulgent Islander Army soldiers over the last couple of weeks, and it's really it really puts a smile on my face when you're putting stuff out like this to know. And that's a perfect way to wrap it up, because I'm very grateful to you, dude. You've been super supportive of my endeavor. I know that the best relationships, the best friendships are when that street goes both ways. And what I'm most excited about you and I and our friendship is we've only just begun. You know, we've already talked about, off camera, behind stage, if you will. So a couple of plans that you and I have to get together outside of, well, for you, it's work. For me, can you really call this work? But we talked about a couple of things that we got planned. I'd honestly, even as just a spectator, because I can't throw a disc to save my life, I would even love to come out with with Brandon, you guys, one of these days, just to kind of see like what that's all about and just to watch you guys do your thing. Because, like, I'm a terrible golfer. I haven't picked up the stick since I got down here, but the favorite times that I enjoyed getting out on the golf course was just when I was with a couple of buddies and having a few bips and just, bullshit and shooting the shit and having a couple of laughs. So as we get into warmer weather, I'd love to tag along for one of those. That'd be a lot of fun.
Let's do it, man. I'd love to show you the disc golf community.
Awesome. I got a couple guys up in South Jersey that are fanatical about this stuff. It's crazy
for sure.
One of them got married. He had his bachelor party in the Poconos, and I met them at the house, and they were out all day playing disc golf. And that was like my travel time to get there. And so I just remember like sitting out on the deck, kind of getting ready and amping up for a big weekend. And those guys come in, all charged up, because I don't know any of the terms or any of that kind of stuff, but
that's all right.
It is a community. We talk about communities.
Yep, it's a community.
Yeah, for sure. And we talked a lot about our community, and we talked a lot about experiences, just like this beer dinner coming up next week and the Oyster Festival, the Oyster Roast coming up after that. Check out Lincoln and South on their socials. Follow Chef Craig Ryan. Go get to it at Lunch Bro, and we'll talk obviously before then, but I'll see you obviously next week, and really can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Man, appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Have a great day, brother. As always, guys, we'll be back, I would say probably next week. Stay hungry. Indulgent Islander and Chef Craig Ryan of Lincoln and South Brewing.